welcome back to my channel. My name is Helena and I'm a medical student, a third-year medical student, and today's video is going to be all about how to prepare for your medical school interview. And this video is going to be very, very relatable if you're doing the MMI or the traditional panel interview. I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you probably have an interview or you've applied for a course that maybe requires an interview. So yeah, hopefully these tips help you, and hopefully after watching this video, you feel a bit more confident or you know how to go about with your medical school interview. So yeah, so if you do like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Also follow me on my Instagram as well, because that's where a lot of students actually ask me questions regarding interview. I'm able to reply quicker on there as well. If you don't have Instagram, I do have an email as well, which I'll put in the description box below. So you can send me an email about anything and I will surely respond within due time. So yeah, let's get straight into the video. And yeah, make sure you get a pen, paper and just jot things down quickly, and I'll be giving you different tips on how to prepare for your interview. And yeah, let's get straight into it. Before I start, actually, I might quickly just explain for those who might not be familiar with what an MMI is. And pretty much it's basically having several different interviews in different stations. So the stations vary from uni to uni, so I can't really give you a set amount, because one of my interviews I had like about 8 stations, so it actually varies from university to universities. But yeah, different stations, and usually they'll have different topics, so it can vary from so many different things. I'm going to give examples from interviews I've had. One could be like based on your work experience or like personal statement. It could be why you want to go to university. You could get ethical question or something related to the GMC, and data interpretation. I've got video consultation where I've had to watch a video, and a video between a doctor and a patient. They even ask on the station like why I actually want to come to the university, like questions like that. Oh, and can I say role play? Yeah, role play too, just in case I haven't said that. But yeah, it can vary from university to university to what you can get. So I can't really say what exactly you're gonna get, but these are things to like think about. Sometimes you could get stations where they talk about hot topic. Let me give another example. So that's like for MMI. For like the traditional panel interview, for example, like Queen Mary or Barts in London, their style of interview is a bit different. So they don't actually do the MMI as of now, as I'm filming this video. And bear in mind, my interview was basically like 2 years and a bit ago, so that was 2018. Was it 2017? 2018, yeah. So they have a panel interview. So for my interview personally, I had a lecturer or professor, and also I had like a 4th or 5th year medical student as well at the interview, and they were asking me different questions. So rather than going to different stations, I was basically in front of them for about like 20 to 30 minutes. And basically they just asked you a bunch of questions, and they were taking it into turns, like asking me different questions. So it was very different from the MMI in terms of how it was laid out. However, the same way I prepped did slightly apply to it. The only difference from Queen Mary or Barts, they gave me like an ethical scenario to read before the interview, which is a bit different from other interviews. So bear in mind, I say one thing you should really do is check the style of interview they have. Check if it's an MMI, check if it's the traditional panel interview. The next tip I'll say is make sure you read over your personal statement, especially if you've actually done your personal statement a while ago and you've kind of like submitted it and everything. Go back to it. Just go back and read your personal statement again. The reason why I said this is, personally, when I had an MMI interview, one of my stations was actually dedicated to my personal statement. They picked on like certain information I wrote in my personal statement, and they wanted me to expand further. A good tip I'll say for this is using the acronym STAR. Maybe people might be familiar with this, but just in case you're not, I'll go through it quickly. So STAR is an acronym. So S stands for situation. So for example, if they were like, give me a time where you had to work in a team. Work experience is probably like a very good one to relate to this question. I use the STAR method where I talk about the situations. That's for S. T, what task I had to do, so what was I actually doing during the placement or work experience. A, what action did I take? What did I do? R, what was the result? What was the outcome? R as well, I tend to reflect as well. I think that's very, very good to reflect on the situation too. Especially in uni, you're going to be doing the reflection like all the time, reflecting on different situation when you do like a PowerPoint presentation, when you're working in a team, on placement. Like reflection is going to be like your new best friend. It gives you a nice structure for your answer, because sometimes nerves can actually get to you during this situation. So yeah, the STAR method is good. Read over your personal statement, and this is why it's very important to make sure your personal statement is personal to you, and make sure that you're honest in your personal statement, because when it comes to interview, this is possibly something they'll pick on. So that's an advice I definitely give to you. As well as this, so like I said before, probably you're watching this because you've got an interview, or maybe you're waiting for an interview. Especially if you're waiting for an interview, this is a very good time. I believe that you don't necessarily have to have an interview before you start preparing. So I'll say definitely start preparing. I mean, you don't have to go like all out right now if you don't know you've got an interview, but please like look over like bits about the interview, like just get a bit familiar with it. The reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes they do not give you enough notice. They do not. There's cases where you can actually get told you have an interview like next week or in 2 weeks, and bear in mind you're juggling other things. You might be juggling like going to school, A-levels, it could be uni, it could be coursework, it could be deadline, it could be a job. So just, sometimes just prepare yourself, because they can throw this interview at you anytime soon, so you don't know. And another thing is, you might have more than one interview, and you could find out that it could be very close together. You might not have enough time for each one. Yeah, so just make sure you actually kind of like read over information about persons. Just do your research, just do your research, find out information. If it was talking to medical students about, interviews, getting tips and advice, watching this video as well. This is actually a first step as well. Also as well, just to touch on when I talked about work experience, bear in mind there's a lot of skills they're looking out for. So they could be looking at like for teamwork, leadership skills. If you're showing empathy, resilience, if you're hardworking, if you're committed, if you're flexible, if you're able to adapt to different environments, all these things, if you're committed, they are looking for all these things. If you have enthusiasm, like if you see like keen about studying medicine, they are actually watching and pointing out to see these things. And remember, this is your time to shine, especially because these people don't know you personally. So you have like however minutes or a couple hours or whatever, just to show them who you are, show them your personality. So it's a very crucial moment that you've got. Yeah, it's your time to shine basically. So try and use that opportunity and make sure you prepare yourself just so you can be able to deliver your best as well. Okay, so another tip I'll give is go over medical ethics. Go through ethical scenarios, go through the 4 pillars of ethics. Just in case you guys don't know what it is, so it is beneficence, justice, autonomy, and non-maleficent. And go over what they mean exactly, know what they actually mean, and then apply them to different ethical scenarios. And by this I mean try and go online about different medical interviews. Medic Portal is very good at that, about finding different medical scenarios, ethical scenarios, or even going online to see different topics currently going on and applying these medical ethics in the situation. So I would say if you've got for example a station on ethics, have those 4 pillars in your head and try and apply the situation into these different ethics, this medical ethics, the pillars. Also as well, make sure when you are dealing with an ethical scenario, try and give both sides first, balance it out. So give why this should, or why someone might think this and why someone might think about this, and then give your personal opinion or an overall conclusion sort of thing, if that makes sense. So balance out your argument, kind of do for and against. For me, doing philosophy and ethics at A-levels really helps me with this, because we had so many ethical scenarios, and it's very useful to even have conversations or maybe debates with people, families, friends, and pick a topic, and both of you bring your points across basically, and this helps you see things from people's view as well as your view, because obviously you might have your personal opinion about something, and someone might have another opinion too. So it's good to see both sides. That's how I would prepare for the medical ethics. I did read books regarding medical ethics too, but I wouldn't say you need to read a whole book about medical ethics to be able to, like, you know, deal with that station. I only read it because I was actually doing it. I've actually done A-level ethics before, so A-level philosophy and ethics. So that's a bit different, but I feel like you can simply do your research online and just find out more information about ethics. So Medic Portal is definitely one that I'll suggest, and I'll link it in the description box below just in case you are finding a way to find different ethical scenarios. So just in case, I'll just go through everything. You know, I'll go all out in this video. So I'm going to go through 4 medical ethic pillars. First one is autonomy. So autonomy is kind of like talking more about the patient. Like, has the patient given consent to this? What is the patient's thoughts about this? Does the patient have the right mental capacity to actually consent to certain things? Or does the patient have a consent form where they've approved someone else or appointed someone else to actually make ethical decisions for them? So these are things that you should think about in a situation when you're thinking about autonomy. Remember, autonomy as well is definitely about respecting the patient's decisions. So benevolence, I hope I'm saying the word right, but anyways, this is basically doing things for the good of the patient, like doing this for the patient's best interest. And this is very important. So it's very good to know the definition of each one. Regardless, still do your research about the definition of all these words, because I feel like from a definition you can then be able to digress and tackle different ethical questions. So non-maleficent, that's maleficent, I think I'm saying that right, is basically not causing harm. That's basically it. Do not cause harm. It's doing things to not intentionally harm the patient. Yeah, but make sure you do your research, because you might have ethical scenarios where you have to apply this. And justice is more like an overall view, like a view of the society. Does this work in the society we live in? Is this more practical? How would this benefit society? Would the society have funding for a certain thing? Maybe there's like a new vaccination. Is it practical for everyone? Does it make sense to make this for everyone? So justice is more looking about society as a whole. So yeah, I hope I've quickly explained that. I just thought I might as well just do this in a video rather than doing a whole video about ethics. Hopefully that helps. For this section, I'll also recommend looking at the GMC guideline. So that's the General Medical Council. They do have guidelines, especially the guidelines for medical students, fitness and practice, or ones regarding professionalism and behavior. Have a look at them. I'll put all the links below, don't worry. But have a look at them and look at different situations and different scenarios. So they do have guidelines, and I feel like with these guidelines, you could apply your knowledge to how to tackle situations, and also look at the do's and the don'ts really. Some of them are very like common sense really, but it's very important just to look at the guideline, just to know what's expected as a medical student in terms of professionalism, how to behave, and it's a practice. But I will link everything down below for you guys, so don't worry. Don't worry. This should have been the first point, but anyways, practice. Like, guys, just practice. Do not go to your interview without practicing, because guys, practice makes perfect. Trust me, guys. And when I say practice, so for example, the way I practice is I use my family, I use my friends, and it's more of like getting them to throw like different questions at me. And so I could give them a gist of like the type of like how the interview would be like, and they will throw out different questions to me. And this really helps. Well, number one, it's good to get people to ask you like a variety of questions rather than questions you've staged for yourself, just so it helps like think on the spot and try and plan your answers quickly. Also, get someone that can actually give you a constructive criticism, and not like they have to like, so basically someone that's able to be honest with giving you like how it went well and how it didn't go so well, because feedback is very important. Feedback can actually make a huge difference in your, so for example, I would do interviews with my mum. My mum doesn't really know much about maybe medical interviews, but I just told her, okay, these are the type of questions I would get, and she would throw questions at me, and it was so helpful. Another thing I did is, whilst we were doing this, I actually recorded it. This helps me a lot, because I started to notice a lot of habits I had. I probably had these same habits in this video, but I said a lot, I said like a lot. There's just certain words I kept saying that didn't really sound good. So I was able to analyze my body language. Like, body language means a lot, guys. You need to be able to seem enthusiastic, keep a positive vibe. Like, you need to be able to smile, have a good aura, basically, and that's very important. I feel like that does make a difference in terms of your interview. Show your motivation, show like you're enthusiastic, show your passion to actually do medicine. These are things that's very key. And when you're doing the mock, take it seriously as well. I know it could be difficult, like when your parent or your siblings or your friends is giving you a mock test, but take it seriously, guys, trust me. The reason why I said this is because this will help you in the long term. Practicing does actually give you a little bit more confidence, even though it's very nerve-wracking. It gives you a lot of confidence. If you do have the opportunity to, I know this is a bit harder, but if you can actually replicate how an MMI would be, so like having like maybe, for example, like different stations, maybe like 8 stations, try and do that just so you're used to the fast pace of a mock interview. So for example, one of my interviews, I thought like,
oh my god, 8 stations is too much.
It went by so fast. It goes by so fast, especially because this year most people would have their interviews online, so it's probably even best to practice doing your interviews online too. So you can use, for example, like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, anything where you can communicate with people, and maybe you can even get people to help you virtually as well. So I know Helena Medics, they are currently doing, I think, mock interviews, ACMM also as well. I'll put all the links in the description box as well, so don't worry guys, I'll put all the links in the description box. But as well as practicing, don't write down all your answers. Don't provide like a script, if that makes sense. And the reason why I said this is, guys, once you write a script, you're going to end up sounding robotic. You're going to literally sound like you're literally memorizing what you wrote down. I would say instead, just jot down points instead. So write down like how you would answer the question by writing bullet points. In terms of resources, so I use a few things. So I use the medical interview book, which I'll show you here. The book is really good. It's really good. It's very chunky, but it's a good way, like, especially if you want someone else to throw you questions, it's a good book to like get questions from. However, I am aware that some of the information might not be up to date. So instead, as well as the book, I'll say use other things like Medic Portal. That was very helpful because they have question banks. Also, they have current topics that's going on right now. Make sure you look at current information right now. And you can use a Medic Portal, you can use the BBC News, so many things. Another thing that's the plug, guys, this is what I suggest you to do is, so go on BBC Health or like whatever news it is, go on the health section, turn on the notifications so you can get the notifications for any latest health care related news or news basically. And also go on Twitter. I know it sounds crazy. Go on Twitter and go on different like journals, for example, like BMJ, Lancet, all the journals that you can imagine, and turn on your notification for their tweets on Twitter. So then whenever like they post anything, you get a notification on your phone. Obviously, you don't have to do too much. Don't overwhelm yourself. You don't need to know everything that's going on, but it just gives you a gist of what's going on. You can pick a few things basically. Just turn on the notification so you can get it on your phone. Don't burn out in terms of finding out exactly everything that's going on, but just get a gist of like the current things going on right now, if that makes sense. Another useful resource as well is YouTube. There's a lot of like MMI interviews practice on YouTube. Very useful, guys. So just definitely watch them. Looking at the university. So the university that you're applying to, check their website, look at their prospectus, look at it, look at like, for example, what you like about the universities, because you could get a question about why you want to go to the university. So try and find out like a few points, maybe get like about 3 to 5 key points of why you want to go to university. Another thing is try and know what the course structure is like. So not like in depth, but have a gist of what type of course they do. Is it a spiral curriculum? Is it integrated? Do you get early exposure to patients from like first year? Do they do PBL? Do they do CBL? Do they do dissection, or is it prosection? So look at all these different things and just have a gist of, the university you're applying to. Because remember guys, as well as applying to the course, you're also going to the university as well. So you need to know about both the course and the university. I'll also say try and tackle the common questions that people always talk about, like why medicine, maybe what's your strengths, what's your weaknesses. Try and go through those questions already, because I feel like those are the questions seem easy, but like they kind of throw people off, if that makes sense. It's a bit weird when you have to, like, for example, talk about yourself. What if you have to like say your strength, because it feels like you have to big up yourself. But yeah, try and tackle those kind of questions beforehand a bit. Don't make it too scripted, like I said. Make sure you try and stay calm. I know this is a hard one. This is really hard to even say, because I know that I was stressing so much. But guys, you have to stay calm. You do have to stay calm, especially, for example, in MMI, where time is very important. You need to be alert. You need to have a good sleep. You just need to be there. You need to be present, basically. So try and, be relaxed, have a good sleep, eat breakfast, don't eat anything that will trigger your stomach. And it depends. So all reviews online, please take it just as seriously as you do it if you're going in person. So still dress up smart and appropriate for an interview. Make sure everything is working. So make sure you do have everything set up. Check to make sure if your computer, laptop, or whatever device you're using is working. Fully charged, guys. Make sure that's sorted. Make sure your environment is suitable, especially for example with noise. You don't want anything to throw you off or distract you during this interview. Eye contact is important, because even I can imagine this will be a struggle, because you're just looking at a screen. Just imagine, guys, that these people are looking at you directly through the screen. They're analyzing your body language. So make sure you look at them. Make sure you give eye contact at all times. So basically, treat it like you'll be doing a normal interview, basically. So obviously, I'm not sure if you guys are going in person or not, but if you are, obviously make sure you're on time. Even if you're online, make sure you're on time. Don't be late. Get everything prepped beforehand. Give yourself time, basically. You just don't want to stress out. And if you do have anything that actually helps you de-stress, make sure you de-stress yourself before the interview, just to make sure you're ready and you're alert. So yeah, all in all, just have a positive mindset, really open mind about it, be enthusiastic, and yeah, I feel like you do great. So I hope this video was very helpful. I hope you guys do well. I know it could be very hard, this interview, especially, for example, if you have stations where you have to break bad news, or get into your acting role and stuff like that, or doing ethical issues. Just practice. Do not burn out though. Do not, overdo it, if that makes sense. Do not get yourself too worked up, but definitely practice. And also, guys, use people to help you. When I say that, I mean use your family, guys. Use your family, use your friends. If you know a medical student, message them, contact them. There's so many people that's medical students that's willing to help, guys. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people help people online. Ask them. There's no harm in asking people for just advice and tips. And this is the reason why I'm actually doing this video, because I just feel even if this helps one person or how many people, I will be happy. And yeah. Hi guys, so for this giveaway, I'll be giving the ISC Medical Interview book, the one that you can see down below. All you have to do is like my giveaway post on Instagram at HelenaLife_. Follow me on Instagram and share the post on your Instagram story. Next, you just have to tag a friend under the post. You can tag as many friends as you want. And lastly, subscribe to my YouTube channel. The closing date for this giveaway is the 22nd of November 2020 at 6 p.m. and the winner will be announced the next day. In this video, I am aware that there is, check them on Instagram, they're called We Are Medics, and they're very good with creating guidelines and handbooks for people who are interested in medicine. I do believe that they're preparing one for an interview handbook. I'm not sure if it's out yet, but if it is, I will link it down below, and check them out. They're very good. They've done guidelines for like UCAT tests and all sorts, really. They're really, really good. I will highly recommend them. And the good thing about this, guys, is free. So yeah, guys, good luck with your interview. I hope you smash it. I hope you do well in your interview. And remember, you've gotten this far, like you've gotten to this stage, which is definitely an achievement. Medicine, the application can be so stressful, and you've gotten this far. So that is a good step. That's a plus. And if you're still waiting for interviews, still have hope, still have faith, and it's not over. It's still, as I'm filming this video, it's still November. Interviews can range all the way till next year. So if you don't have an interview yet, don't be alarmed, don't be scared. You might still have a chance. I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if this video was useful, and let me know what videos you want to see in the future. Bye, guys.